So the next concept is like user defined function. So what is user defined function means? So the C program allow us to break down the complex code into the block codes. Okay, so it will converts the overall, if I have the codes of around 2000 to 3000 line. So if I need to debug anything, or if I need to understand the program, means it is difficult. So if I do the block by block, like if the application is having the addition, means I need to I will create one function or the block of code for addition only. If I have for the subtraction, means I will create that as a block of code. So this is where you can have the you can have the code redundancy. So code redundancy means like you can use the same code without writing it like 2 to 3 times. Okay, so user defined functions. So user defined function. So user defined function is a block of code which will have some statements to be executed. So for example, if I need to add one data, okay, so I will create one function for add. Okay, if I need to have another criteria, that is subtraction, means I will create that as a function. If I have multiplication, means I will create that as a multiplication. So I can use this add function 100 times by writing the function only one time. So I will create one function, I will do the all the computation part in that function. I can call it 100 times, so that there will be a code redundancy. So code redundancy can be avoided. So we cannot if I need to call the add 100 times, means I cannot write the code a is equals to a b plus c every time. So I can call this function 100 times, so that there can be avoid the code redundancy. So simple syntax of an function is like, so you know the C program will execute from main function. So main function, in that main function I will call function 1. Okay, I will call function 1. So firstly, if I execute the C program or this program, it will start executing from the main function. So while if it encounter the function 1, it will search the function 1 definition or function 1 implementation. Okay, so it will go to func1 implementation. If I call function 2 here, then the main function will be executed. It will encounter the function 1, it will go for the function 1 implementation, then it will execute this function 1. If this function also having another function, means it will go towards this function, and implementation will be it will go to the implementation of function 2, and after that it will return back to the function 1, and then it will return back to the main function. Okay, so after executing the function 2, it will return back to the function 1, then after executing the function 1, it will return back to the main function. Okay, this is how, like a simple syntax, how the function is going to be implemented. Okay, so to declare or to execute any function, we have 3 steps. Okay, so one is we need to register or declare that function in the above the main method. So I have already told that declaration, there is a declaration part in the structure of a C program. In that declaration part, you need to declare your user defined function. So to declare user defined function or to name a or to create one user defined function, there are 2-3 steps. Okay, that is a simple steps. I will explain that. To implement any user defined function, first is like you need to give the return type, return data type of that function. So one function means it should return some data, so that data should be of format. Which format it should be, like it may be an integer, like if I add 2 integers means it should return the integer value. So I need to give the return type as integer. If I am going to have the floating values, it should return the float values. If I am having the like character to be returned, I need to give the character as the return type. So for main also, if we not going to use any return type, it will return void. Void means it will not return anything. Void means like empty. So if I if I can use implicitly or explicitly, it will take void main only. If I use only main also, it will take the void. So this is the return type. This is the return type, and this is the function name, and this is the arguments. So you can pass any data to that function. So if I need to add some data means like I need to send the like 2 variable value from main to that function. So that is where you call argument. Okay, so we are going to have one simple program so that we can easily understand the concepts of function. I'm going to have declaration part as include stdio dot h. Okay, so then I need to register my function name. So my function will going to return int. It will going to return the integer data. My function name is sum. My function name is sum, and the parameters or the arguments which I am going to pass to that function is 2 variables. One is a, which is of type integer, and the another variable is b, which is of type also integer. So this is where you are going to declare your function. So you need to declare this function. If you are not going to declare means the sum will not going to be executed. It will show the error if you call this sum. Okay, so then I will write the main function. Okay, so here I will assign the value directly. A is equals to 10, b is equals to 20. Okay, so I have assigned the values of a and b directly. Then now I need to call the function. So first I need to create that function. So after main I will create another one function, that is int sum int a int b. Okay, so here I will return, you should return data, or else you can print here only. So if you need to return the data to the main function, you need to write return a plus b, I will return a plus b. I can have one variable that is res is equals to a plus b, then I will going to return res. So no need of that, we can have a single line of code, that is we are going to return a plus b. So now I need to call this function. I have written the function, the return type is integer and the function name is sum, and the parameters are two parameters I have used, one is int a and int b, and another one is I will going to return the data. So first I need to call this function. So to call this function, you need to call the name. Since we are returning the data, we need to hold that returned data. We need to hold the returned data. So that's why you need another one variable, that is result variable. I will initialize that to 0. So initialization is a good practice. Okay. So next is like I need to get the data to the result which is returned by the sum function. So sum function name of, I need to pass the two parameters. I need to pass two parameters. So since the function declaration having two parameters, I need to pass two parameters. One is a and another one is b. So this ends up your function code. Okay. So firstly you need to register or declare your function in the declaration section. Okay. This is the return type of the integer and this is the name of the integer, and these are all the parameters. So you can have one parameter based on your criteria, or you can have 100 parameters. Okay. So int a and int b. Okay. Then in main function I have initialized three variables, a, b, two numbers, and another one to store the result. Okay. Then res is equals to, I will create one function, that is int sum is equals to int a, int b. So int is a return type, sum is the function name, int a and int b are the parameters. So then I will return the a plus b. So a plus b will go into here. So in sum of a comma b, it will call this function, and after getting the data, in place of this it will return the value, that is 30. Okay, in place of this it will return the value. It will call this function. After executing that, it will return the data. I am going to return the data which is to the res table. Okay. After that you can print that information. %d, this is the format specifier, comma, the variable name res. Okay. So this is how a simple function is going to be worked. So you need to declare the function and you need to implement the function, then you are going to call. So it may be a return time, we can have return time, or you can print here only, print res value. So since we are using the function, you need to return that data. So if there is a like code after the main function, means I need to get that data also, no? So that's why you are going to return that data. So if I want this sum function in any main method, I can have, if I have like another variable 20, that is x is equals to 20 and y is equals to 30. I have another variable. I can also pass that to x and y. Same code will going to be work based on the parameter you are going to pass. So this is how the by using the functions we can like maintain the code easily, and also we can avoid the code redundancy. Code redundancy means code duplication. If I don't have the function, means I need to, like for x and y also I need to do the same computation part, and if I have pq means I need to do the same computation part. So this will there will be a time complexity in the application. So that's why we are going to use the functions here. Okay. So next is like how to call the functions in different types. So there are two types in calling a function. One is call by value and another one is call by reference. So you can call user defined function in two types. One is call by value and another one is call by reference. Firstly, we are going to deal with call by value. So call by value is like calling a function with the help of value, like calling a function by passing the arguments or the parameters with the help of value. So like in the last program we have used the call by value only. So like while adding the while adding two numbers, I am going to call that function with the help of values only. So I have called the function as sum is equals to sum of a comma b. So res is equals to sum of a comma b. So I am calling this function with the help of values. The values is in the variables. So I am going to call the function with the help of values. So how this is going to be work means, so I will write a program for call by value as include stdio dot h. Okay, as include stdio dot h, and I need to declare my function. So int sum int a, there are two parameters int, okay, I have only one parameter. This name is like, we will change this function name as incr, incrementer. Okay, the function name is incr. So I will pass only a single value. Okay, so then I will have main method. So I will initialize a value to 2. Okay, the value of a is 2. Then I will print. What I will print? Before executing function, the value of a. Before executing the function, what is the value of a, I will going to print. Okay, then I will call the, since I am not returning anything, so that's why I am not assigning this to any variable. I will not return anything, so just I will print that data in the function only. Increment of a. Okay, after that I will print once again printf after function, after function execution, %d, what is the value of a. Okay, then now I will write the implementation of function. Int incr, since I am not returning anything, I will take this as void. Since I am not returning anything, so that's why I will take this as void. Okay, so here also I will take it as void incr int a. I will assign the value of a is equals to a plus 10. Okay. So, I will assign a is equals to a plus 10 means a is 2, 2 plus 10 is 12. So, the value of a will be changed to 12. Okay. I will print the value of a here. Okay. So, this is how our program is. So, how it is going to be worked means, like I have declared the standard input output, I have declared the function name, then I have main. Initially the value of a will be, I will write the output here, output. Initially the value of a will be 2 as I have assigned directly. Okay. After firstly this statement is going to be worked. Okay, a is initialized to 2, then it will come to the next line, like step by step execution only will be done. Okay. So printf before executing function percentage %d means the output is before executing, the printing statement will be remain same, function the value of a is 2. 2 will be going to be printed here. Then I will call the function. So after this line it will go to this function wherever it is. It will go and a is equals to a plus 10. So the value of a is 2. 2 plus 10 means 12. After this execution it will print the value of a here. So the value of a there will be 12. So here the value of a is 2. After executing the value of a is in the function is 12. After that it will go back to the after once the function is function execution is ended up, it will go back to the same function to the next line. After that printf after function the value of a will not be changed, it is as 2 only. Why means, if I use the call by value method, so if I use the call by value method, if I am going to modify the value of a in the function, it will create, this function will create another value a. It will create another variable a in the memory space and assign that value to 12. This is a separate variable now, this is a separate variable. If I need to modify this argument value only, the function will create another one variable and dump that data to this. Okay. So this is how the call by value will going to be work. So if I changing the a value only, if I am not changing a value, I am going to the same addition means there is no changes there. If I am changing the argument value only, then in the function it will create another one variable and store that data to the same store that data to that variable. This remains the same, since there is no changes in this block of code, the a remains 2 only. So this is how the call by value is going to be work. So the next one is like call by reference. Call by reference means calling a function with the help of address of a variable. Now in the call by value we are going to pass the variable as the argument. In the call by reference we are going to pass the address of the variable to the function. Okay. So I will declare Now to call the or to address the address of a variable, I have already told you, you need to use the ampersand. Ampersand means we will declare on the function here incr int ampersandile of a. So this will tell you the address of a variable. So this will tell you the address of a variable. Okay. If I have a is equals to 10 means the address of a will be passed as a argument. So it will go there and we will going to add or delete, it will put that data to that address space. Okay. So then I am having main function. So same int a equals to, then print statement. Before executing the function, what is the value of a? After executing, I will call the increment function. With the help of, I will pass address of a variable. So I will pass the address. So if you create any variable, it will have one memory space and it should have one address to access that. If I am from Mysore, so I am from Ramakrishna Nagar, so this is my address. So if anyone wants to meet me, he or she should come to that address. So if anyone wants to modify the variable data, he should go to this memory location and modify that data. Okay. Printf, after modifying, what is the value of a? Okay. Next I will create that function int ampersand of a. Okay. A is equals to, so since I am using the address of a, so I need to specify it as star. Star means address of star. So to the address of star, take the value in the address, add 10 to it. So then print the value of a. Okay. So this ends our program. So how it is going to work? This is the declaration part, and here the value of a is equals to 2. The printf statements yields a result 2. So the output of this printf is 2. Then it will call this function. Then to the address of a, the data of address of a, the data of address of a plus 10. So 2 plus 10 is equals to 12. So this 12 is directly assigning to the address of that variable. So it is not going to create any variable, we are going to manipulating a variable with the help of memory location. So the same memory location will be upgraded or modified. Okay. So the value of a here is 12. Okay. After that, the value of this is also 12. It is already modified since I am dealing it with the address of a variable. So the address of variable is passed here. The address value will be added with the 10. We are going to add the data plus 10. So the value of the variable address value is going to be changed, so that if I going to print that data, the addressed value is going to be changed here. So that's why it is going to have 12 here. Okay. So like advantages of this is like, if you are going to modify the value of the argument, you need to use the call by reference. If you use the call by value, it will create another variable, will not modify a value here. Okay, if you need to modify the parameter or argument value, you need to use call by reference. If you don't want that, you can use the call by value. Okay, this is about the call by value and call by. Next concept is like scope of a block or scope of a variable. Okay, next is like scope of a variable. So scope of a variable means like the variable, like it's a life cycle of a variable. We can say it as a life cycle of a variable. The initialization is the birth of the variable, and the final execution of that block is the death of that variable. After executing the whole program, the variable values will be lost there. The variables will deallocate its memory location and the variable will going to be destroyed. Okay, so in scope of a variable, we are having 4 types. Block scope, function scope, next one is like program scope, next is like file scope. These are only 4 types of scoping or scope of a variable. Okay, so block scope means, if I am having main function here, if I am going to declare int a here, some statements here, okay. So here in the main function, I have used one variable. This is a block. This function is a block. Okay, I have used one variable a is equals to 10 there, and I am going to print that value here. So the value of a will be return output as 10. After executing this, if the controller comes here, it will throw us a error, because it is going to say the error as a is not defined. So the scope of this variable is restricted to this block only, the initial point and the final point. After executing this whole block, this value will be ignored or deleted, or it is going to be deinitialization. Okay, so this a is only having the scope inside this block only. So this is called block scope. Okay, so next is like function scope. If I am going to have increment function here, so void function it is. If I am going to have int a here, okay, so after executing this function block, the value of a will be ignored. This is also called as, this function scope is also called as local variable scope. So this is a local variable. So this is variable only local to this function. So I am only local to Ramakrishna Nagar. I am not like if I come to any Kesare or something like that, people will not recognize. If I go to Ramakrishna Nagar, people will recognize because I am a local to that city, no. So that area. So this is how it is worked in C also. So the local variable having scope inside the block only. So this is called local variables. So if I declare any data in the main function, so that is also a local variable. So it cannot be used, that value cannot be used in another program or another block or another function. Okay, this is called the function scope. Next is like program scope. Next is like program scope. So program scope is nothing but like global declaration, global variable. So global variable means this variable can be used inside a program anywhere. So we can use this variable anywhere inside a program if it is declared as global. So how to declare a variable as a global? So while you declare any header files, below that, before the main function, just int a is equals to 10. So now this is a having global scope. So global means it can be recognized anywhere in the application or anywhere in the program. Okay. So if I use main printf %d a means it is going to print 10. Okay. If I am going to have one function int inc, if I print the same a here, it is going to print that data. So this is the scope of a global variable. Okay. So this variable can be used anywhere in the application. Okay. So this is about the global variable or program scope variable. Next is like file scope. File scope. So in file scope, the scope of a variable is like used anywhere in that file. Okay. So to declare that as an file scope, you need to use one keyword, that is static. Static. This is also a global declaration. Okay. Static int a equals 10. So this will have the scope inside all the files of that file system. Okay. You can use it anywhere. Since it is used with the static, you can use it anywhere in that file system. Same as a global variable, but you can, global variable is only restricted to that program file only, that program.c only, but this file scope can be used anywhere inside the file system. Okay. This is about the scope of a variable.